Welcome to Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast.
I want to touch on this growing trend that's so beautiful. If you take away anything this entire week from Murphy, Sam, and Jodi, I hope you take this lesson away. It is beautiful. This growing trend called empty weekends. Scheduling at least one empty weekend in your life a month so that you don't plan parties, you don't plan anything on the social calendar, you don't plan work, you plan nothing. You leave it wide open, and then you are free to do what seems good in the moment, what feels good in the moment. You recharge your batteries. It doesn't mean you lie on the couch and drool all weekend. It just means you don't overschedule yourself and everything becomes impromptu. That is how you recharge. That is how you get back and start over. Recharge is the right word.
It makes perfect sense. Because we cram everything into the weekends, usually because Monday through Friday are so busy. Generally, for in working households, if you want to get together with friends and any of those other things, you're going to tend to set appointments or do gatherings and all that.
So
kind
it's
of
only
stuff.
once a month. It doesn't mean you can't make plans and do some things that you want to catch up on certain weekends. But one weekend, leave it wide open. It reminds me when we did that story today in the show. It reminded me of one of my favorite little ha-has that Papa gave me in his last years. My grandfather, who died a couple of years ago, he was in his early 90s. He lived a long life, and he was a preacher. We all know, you guys know I'm talking about Papa. Well, one time when I went to visit him and I rolled up in the car, he was sitting out on his front porch. This was Murphy when he had started to have real vision problems and he couldn't see very far, and he would sit there just trying to, see what he used to see, and he would just sit on the porch. And I drove up and I started walking up, and I was sure to say, "Hey, Papa, it's me, it's Jodi." And he goes, "Hey, baby." I said, "What are you doing today?" It was a Saturday. So, "What are you doing today?" And he goes, "Well, this." And I thought, "Oh, that's a lovely answer." Yeah. And it's true. Yeah. That was what he was doing today. He was going to sit on his porch.
Yeah.
I mean, and he probably said it in self-realization, but also to make me laugh. And so when we did that story this morning, I thought of him. What are you doing today? This. That's a good answer.
Yeah, I love the idea of it. I don't know that I would do for a whole weekend, but picking one day, is.
I would love it. There's a special feeling of a Friday night.
Do they mean any task and chores and stuff, or is it just people gathers, like get-togethers and social gatherings?
It means leave one weekend a month completely unscheduled. Of course, you're going to run a load of laundry.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to cook something for yourself.
Run to the grocery.
Of course, you're going to feed the dog. But you're not going to schedule no parties. You're not going to schedule anything on the social calendar. You're not going to schedule errands like I'm going to get the oil changed. You're not going to schedule that. So it feels like a mini vacation where nothing is pulling on you. Well, I got to go do this. Actually, you don't. You get to do what you want to do. You want to go to an estate sale that you didn't know was happening down the street. That's where the spontaneity kicks in. And sometimes those can be the best things. You decide you want burritos and margaritas. You go do it.
That's what hits me on those weekends. Like, you know what? There's a new this in town. I want to go try eating there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you feel over... And I do on the weekends. Sometimes there are days on the weekend where it's like, man, I shouldn't have to iron today, or have to do this, or have to grocery shop, or things like that. If you can once a month leave it open and then see where the day takes you, it's about doing less or doing what you want to do only in the moment. It can be a true recharge, which you actually need. I will tell you. Murphy had a recharge this past weekend, and it was because he left that day open, the Corvette day. We surprised you.
Yeah.
All day Saturday became about that, about the car, seeing some of your family members, and then we spent a long time with our new friend, Steven. And I say he's been a friend for a while, but we really got to know him. And it was a day completely out of your usual norm of things that pull on you.
Yeah.
That should voice that calls to you a lot, Murphy.
Yeah. Actually, that's the perfect example, Jodi. I think, because I was thinking when you first said that just a breather from social gatherings and all those, but it really can be anything that's just not on your
if you feel like
list
being
that
social,
you're pressured to do it. You're basically saying don't structure your Saturday and Sunday the same way that you structure your Monday through Friday.
Yeah, leave it unstructured.
Yeah, and because that was a day that was fully social and honestly was one of the most recharging days that I've ever had. And
you took a break completely from the things you normally worry about and do, because when given free time, you are prone to projects.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's actually why you're a successful person. But that doesn't mean you are supposed to do that 24/7. And then on Sunday, you slept in a little bit. We had some nice coffee or whatever. And I remember at the end of the day on Sunday where you did get back to some of those shoulds that pull on you, and you did some planning and some very Murphy type stuff. You said, man, it felt great. I was wide open and clear today for this. And I thought it's because you took a real mental
day
break
beforehand. Yeah.
So you were fresh for it.
Yeah.
You were creative for it.
Yeah.
You can't create all the time and expect everything to be a winner.
Well, and I did those things outside of my usual environment too. Remember?
Coffee shop.
I got and just parked myself for a little bit, and it was just it was a change of scenery, which was great.
Yeah.
But it
just means unstructured time. You get to do what you want with it. If you want to go outside and build a doghouse, then go do it.
Yeah.
But it's what calls to you in the moment, which you can't plan.
It's another way of saying planned spontaneity.
Or plan open, just wide open.
Well, y'all do that a lot on the weekends when y'all do those day trips.
Yeah,
we do. They're just some things, and I know that I'm very different when it comes to this. When Jodi went out of town to see her cousins and that sort of thing, and I will structure, but I will also, I went to enjoy, whether it was me listening to music at home, whether it was me listening to music at home or just wanting to go grab a bite to eat, or it was just driving or whatever it is that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I did not overschedule that time.
Good.
But I find that I'm turning the TV on even less than I ever have. In fact,
you already keep it on low.
I didn't turn it. I don't ever turn it on. I just don't. If Jodi and I are going to watch something together, that's great. But that is the thing in my life that has just completely disappeared now, unless I really want to watch something, because I don't want 2 and 3 and 4 hours going away.
Of course.
Not that there's anything wrong with if somebody really wants to do that, but the only thing that's going to be accomplished in that time period is whatever that is.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to experience the other things that I don't do. I don't want to be in front of a screen. I'm in front of a screen Monday through Friday with what we do in this room, and I love what we do. But screens are everywhere now. So the last thing that I want to do when I'm relaxing is have a screen on in front of me.
Yeah.
I want to do something else that's freeing, and it's kind of like what you're saying. It's unstructured, and I get that it's a show that I'm watching, but for some reason, depending on the context, if it's just me, then it's a screen. If it's me and you, it's an experience.
Shared experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I don't watch as much as I feel like I should, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff.
You don't watch as much TV as you.
I say that because we, do all this Hollywood Outsider stuff, and I try to be in the know on all this stuff. And I've got so many friends telling me, Jodi, you would love this, and Jodi, you would love that. And I do seek entertainment. And so I like to have a book to read at all times and like something to watch at all times. And so I told you about this sort of wager I'm in with my cousin Crystal. She's been trying to get me to finish watching The Morning Show forever, that show on Apple TV. I watched one episode. It's with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. And I watched one episode when it first landed, and I just never picked it back up. And she loves it. And meanwhile, she's never watched Game of Thrones, and she knows I love it. Mm-hmm. And so we were on that girls' weekend. She just asked me if I was watching anything. I said no. She said, "I tell you what, if you will watch the morning show, I will watch Game of Thrones." And I was like, "What?" I almost did a spit take with my mimosa. And my cousin Candace, her sister, was also the same. She was like, "I am down for this," because she wants her to watch Game of Thrones too. But so the reason I tell you that story again is because I told you last night I need to go finish that episode. I'm trying to keep up with her. I had to make myself watch it.
Yeah.
It's not interesting?
No. It's interesting. It's really, really good, but it's hasn't been my go-to with free time lately.
Yeah.
I've been reading. I've been doing yoga, spending time with friends. Murphy and I spend time together. It's not work-related when we can.
Yeah.
But look, I just love the idea, and I wanted to talk about it further. to remind you, if you happen to miss it in the show, the idea is to schedule one weekend a month, or not schedule it, but just have it wide open, a free weekend. Empty weekends is what it's called. There's nothing on your calendar that you have to do. You end up doing what feels good for you in the moment,
and it's rejuvenating.
which is a way to really, truly recharge. You can't do it all the time because adult life calls.
Yeah, right. And, and the thing is, if it's, we're mostly through the summer now, but budget reality sometimes mean a staycation, and so this is a way to make sure that you're able to recharge, like you said. But I actually have to physically remind myself to do it, because to me it's like, the weekend's here. Now I can clean out the closet. Now I can rearrange these drawers,
and that's okay if that's what you feel like doing in the moment on your empty weekend.
Right.
But what you fill it with is up to you.
There are weekends, though, where, I have no plans, and it's like, I really need to trim that bush. And you get out there, and it gets into you.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Okay, I'm already sweaty. Let's go over here and do this. And let's go over here and do this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't planned.
Nice.
And then you feel really accomplished when you finish.
Awesome. I mean, you're tired, but it's like, man, I did everything I've been wanting to do for months.
Yeah, and it looks great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Well, here's your empty weekend.